Okay, lecture 36 is going to be a shorter lecture. Basically, what we're going to be doing on this is you guys are going to be looking at two different types of sequences. There's the arithmetic sequence and a geometric sequence. What you're going to be asked to do on your test is you're going to be given a list of numbers. You're going to have to determine if it's arithmetic or if it's geometric, and then they're going to ask you to do some stuff with it. Okay, so we're going to start out today talking about the arithmetic sequences. So, starting out, what are arithmetic sequences? An arithmetic sequence has the standard form of A plus D, A plus 2 times D, A plus 3 times D. Okay, so there's a couple variables up there. What do those variables mean? Well, this first variable here is A, and A is always going to be our first term. The other variable you see up here is this D. Okay, and D represents the common difference. Okay, now if you notice when I'm looking at my A and my D values here, they are being added together. Okay, which means what makes something an arithmetic sequence is when you are adding the same number over and over and over again. So we have some sequences down below here. This first sequence, I go 1 to 5, I've added 4. I go 5 to 9, I've added 4. 9 to 13, I've added 4. This sequence down here is arithmetic. I am adding 4 each time. My first term would be the 1, because that's the first term there. So that's my A. Okay? And then this positive 4 is my common difference. Okay? So my common difference on that is a positive 4. This next one, okay? Notice I'm going 20 to 18. Am I subtracting? Remember, your arithmetic sequences are always adding. So I'm not subtracting, I'm adding a negative 2. Which is the same thing as subtraction. But we are adding a negative 2. Okay, we want to remember that. Okay. Then from 18 to 16, I am adding another negative 2. From 16 to 14, I am adding another negative 2. Again, this is arithmetic. I'm adding the same number over and over and over again. It just happens on this one that's negative, and that's fine. So this is also arithmetic. My A for this sequence would be 20, and my common difference would be a negative 2. Okay, so on this one here, where we were adding numbers to each one, okay, we had a common difference of a positive 4. This one here, we're adding negatives, so our common difference is a negative 2. Then on our last one here, I've got 2 to 4. I've added 2. I've got 4 to 7, I've added 3. I've got 7 to 11, I've added 4. Am I adding the same number every single time? No, I'm adding a different number. So this is not an arithmetic sequence. Okay? My last example there is not an arithmetic sequence. Here I'm adding 4 every time. Here I'm adding a negative 2 every time. Those are arithmetic. Here I've added 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that one would not be arithmetic on the last one. Okay, the other thing that they're going to ask you to do with these sequences is they are going to ask you to find the nth term. So what is the nth term? Well, remember our nth term, if we think back to our original sequences, that's a formula to help us find the numbers for the range that go in the sequence. Okay, so the nth term formula is important because they're going to ask you questions on your test like find the 200th term. So you're not going to want to write 200 of these terms out to figure out what it is. But if I know my nth formula, I can find a specific term. So again, starting out, I've got A sub n. N is going to be what term I'm looking for. Okay, I've got my A value. Think back to the last slide. What does A stand for? Well, A would be my first term. My n, here's again, remember your n is what term are you looking for? And then this last one, this d, remember the d represents your common difference. Okay, so what's going to happen on your test is they're going to give you a list of numbers and they're going to say, okay, give us the nth term formula. Okay? Well, if they want the nth term, then my n value is going to stay as an n because we don't know what it is. They just want it to be the nth term, which means that this will stay here as an n as well. However, I will know my first term just by looking at the sequence. That's the one that comes first. And I will know my common difference by checking to see what number is added to each term. Okay, let's practice a couple of those. Okay, first one says, find the nth term of the sequence, 1, 5, 9, and 13. Okay, so my nth term formula, you're going to want to have this memorized, is a sub n equals a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so let's start out. What's my a value here? Well, my a value would be my first term. That's my a. Okay, so I'm going to have a 1 plus n minus 1. I'm going to leave that in there because we don't know what n is yet. We're just trying to find the nth term. The second thing that I need to find is d. What's the difference from 1 to 5 there? Well, I added 4. Going from 5 to 9, I have to add 4. Going from 9 to 13, I have to add 4. So my common difference for this is going to be 4. Okay, now, as far as finishing this off, I need to try and get all common terms and everything like that together. And it looks a little weird, but this 4 in the back, I still distribute that in. Okay? That's still an n minus 1 times 4. I could change the order if I want to, but I'm still going to distribute that in. So I'm going to have an a sub n equals 1 plus 4n minus 4. And then I'm going to combine like terms, and I get a sub n equals 4n minus 3. And that is my nth term formula. Okay? So that formula there will allow me to find any number in the sequence. So down below it asks me to find the 102nd term. So if I want to find the 102nd term, all of a sudden that means that I know what my n value is. Now, my n value is 102. Okay, so to simplify that, I'm going to have a sub 102 equals 4 times 102 minus 3. Okay, and then I just need to simplify. 4 times 102, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 100 is 400, so that's going to be 408 minus 3, which tells me that my a sub 102 equals 405. That's going to be a lot better than writing out 102 numbers to figure out your answer. Let's do one more example here. This one's going to be a little bit different. Okay. I want to find the nth term of the sequence. Okay, again, remember our formula. A sub n equals a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, what's my a value? First term is a. So that's going to give me 15 plus n minus 1. They're asking for the nth term, so I don't know what that is. What am I adding to get from 15 to 12? I'm adding a negative 3. What am I adding from 12 to 9? A negative 3. I'm adding from 9 to 6. A negative 3. So my common difference on this one is going to be a negative 3. Do not forget that negative. Okay? I'm going to have to distribute my negative 3 in. That gives me an a sub n equals 15 plus, whoops, not a plus, minus 3n plus 3. Then I just need to combine my like terms here, and I get a sub n equals 15 plus 3 gives me 18 minus 3n. Does not matter the order that you put the 18 or the 3n in. My 3n was negative, so I wanted to move it to the back side of it. Okay, so there's my nth term. Again, it wants us to find the 102nd term. I'm not going to write out all those numbers, so I'm going to go a sub 102, because I know that my n value is 102 now, equals 18 minus 3 times 102. Okay, 3 times 102, 3 and 2 is 6, 3 and 100 is 300, so I've got 18 minus 306. And I can't do that in my head. It's a good thing I brought along a calculator. And you get negative 288. Negative 288. Okay. Now let's move on to geometric sequences.